I hear from men all the time who are recently out of a narcissistic relationship. And one thing that always surprises them is how they didn't see it coming or how they ignored the signs until it was too late. And it's shocking to them and sometimes shameful. But it's important to remember that these narcissistic tactics and dynamics bypass logic and they hook straight into your deepest human needs for deep love and intimacy. I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and in today's video, I'm talking about 10 signs that you are in a narcissistic relationship. And stick around to the end because I'll share the best test to see whether your relationship is toxic or not. And before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the viewer who suggested this topic in a recent YouTube community post. Thank you for this suggestion. This video is for you and for everyone else who has been wondering the same thing. So just to be clear, men can absolutely be narcissists too. But the reason why I focus on women with these patterns is because there aren't enough resources out there for men who have gone through this. Everyone just automatically assumes that the man is the narcissist, and that's far from the truth. Okay, so let's jump right in. Here are 10 signs that you may be in a narcissistic relationship. Number one is the push-pull cycle. In the beginning, it's like you finally found your soulmate. The attention, the affection, the intensity, it's intoxicating. You are the center of her universe. She wants to spend the entire rest of her life with you. But then the shift happens. Suddenly, she's pulling back. She's not so sure about you anymore. So after showering you with constant attention, praise, and intense affection, now suddenly she's ignoring your texts, shutting you out, maybe for days, or acting irritated and distant, and you feel like you're losing her. And you're constantly wondering what you did wrong, trying to fix it, maybe apologizing, just to break the silence and win her back. In healthy relationships, affection is steady. You don't have to question whether your partner cares about you or wonder where you stand all the time. But in narcissistic relationships, this attention and affection comes and goes, and you're being conditioned. It's love bombing followed by withdrawal and repeat over and over. And that's what keeps you trapped, chasing the highs of the beginning of the relationship, never realizing that this game is rigged from the beginning and there is no way to win. Number two, you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. In narcissistic relationships, you find yourself rehearsing what you're going to say because the wrong word, the wrong tone, or even the wrong look on your face can set her off. Maybe she blows up because you text back too slowly, or you were 5 minutes late, or you didn't sound excited enough when you walked in the door. So you end up hyper alert, constantly scanning her moods, trying to adjust yourself just to keep the peace. And over time, this hypervigilance becomes your new normal. And you stop bringing up issues, not because you don't have anything to say, but because you already know what's coming if you do. And you just don't want to deal with it. So you're no longer living freely, you're living in fear, hiding things, not speaking your truth, always bracing yourself for the next explosion. Number three, your boundaries are ignored. In a narcissistic relationship, your boundaries don't matter. They're dismissed, maybe even mocked, twisted back on you. You might say something like, "Don't yell at me, I won't tolerate that." And instead of respecting you, she escalates, shames you, or acts like you're infringing on her right to abuse you. Boundaries, which are supposed to protect your well being, get treated as a betrayal. And the more you try to stay firm, the more you get punished for it. In healthy relationships, boundaries are respected and are part of building trust, safety, and mutual respect. Number four, you become responsible for her emotions. Over time, you start carrying the weight of her moods. So if she's sulking, angry, anxious, or abusive, you automatically start scanning yourself. What did I do wrong? How do I fix this? And you end up thinking that her happiness and stability depend on you. And if she falls apart, it's somehow always your fault. In healthy relationships, both partners take responsibility for their own moods and behaviors while supporting each other when needed. In narcissistic relationships, it's one sided. She unloads everything on you, and you're expected to regulate her while your own needs and feelings get trampled on in the process. Number five are the double standards. In a narcissistic relationship, you will quickly learn that the rules are not applicable to her, just to you. For example, maybe she's always late, but you're just 5 minutes late, and it's a huge ordeal that ruins the entire night. Or maybe she overtly flirts with other men in front of you, but if you so much as politely smile at the waitress, you're accused of cheating. What's allowed for her is disrespectful if you do it. And instead of seeing the hypocrisy, she twists it back on you as though you're the one who's untrustworthy and has no integrity. In a healthy relationship, there's fairness, consistency, and mutual respect. In narcissistic ones, she makes the rules and you're the only one who has to follow them, giving her full control over you and the relationship. Number six, she punishes you with silent treatments. In toxic relationships, silence isn't about taking space to calm down and process your thoughts and emotions. It is a weapon. So maybe she stops replying to your texts, ignores you in your own house, or walks past you for days without saying a word. That cold withdrawal is punishment, and it trains you to apologize just to break the tension, even when you didn't do anything wrong. That's the point. It's psychological punishment designed to keep you chasing her attention and approval. In healthy love, silence is about cooling off and finding clarity. It's communicated. But in toxic relationships, it's all about being in control and showing you, reminding you who has all the power. Number seven is that there's no repair after conflict. So in healthy relationships, fights happen, but they end with repair. You talk it through eventually. You own your parts. You find your way back to connection. Conflict doesn't leave you questioning your worth or walking on eggshells. But in a toxic relationship, conflict is a one-way street. You have to take the blame. You do all the apologizing. You're the one always promising to try harder. Meanwhile, she absolves herself of all responsibility by rewriting the narrative where you're always the villain and she's always the innocent victim who did absolutely nothing wrong. So there's never any real resolution. It's always you shrinking yourself and taking the blame to restore the peace. Number eight, she isolates you from others. So you start canceling plans with your friends or skipping family events because every time you spend time with others, you pay for it. Maybe she stirs up drama, accusing your friends of disrespecting her, complaining that your family makes her feel unwelcome, or even picking fights with you just before you're about to go somewhere. And over time, it's just not worth it. So you stop going, you stop reaching out until one day you realize she's the only person around. And this might look like love, but it's not. It's control. Because the more chaos and conflict she creates with others, the more isolated you feel and the more dependent you become on her. So ask yourself, are you truly growing closer to her or just growing apart from everyone else? Number nine is gaslighting. In narcissistic relationships, gaslighting is constant. She's twisting facts, denying what happened, and rewriting the story, leaving you questioning your own memory and your own sanity. And over time, it doesn't stop with her gaslighting. You start doing it to yourself, and you'll catch yourself making excuses for her. Maybe she didn't mean it that way. She's just stressed. She's been traumatized, and you start flipping the blame inward. Maybe if I hadn't said this, she wouldn't have exploded. And that's self-gaslighting. When you silence your own truth just to preserve the relationship, it is self-gaslighting. And the more you do it, the more you lose your confidence. You don't just question the relationship, you question yourself. And little by little, you feel smaller, weaker, less certain of who you are. And that's not an accident. In a narcissistic relationship, systematic devaluation is the point because the weaker and more insecure you feel, the more control she has and the more secure she feels. Number 10, you can't leave even though you can't tolerate it anymore. So, one of the clearest signs of a narcissistic relationship is that you know it's destroying you, but you still can't walk away or you can't stay away. So you find yourself hoping, praying, and waiting for her to change, longing for that version of her you had during the love bombing phase and the version she promises to become if only you can be the fantasy man she needs you to be. And that cycle of craving the good version of her and dreading the bad version is what keeps you stuck in this constant state of limbo. You can't tolerate the chaos, but you can't leave because you're addicted to the hope that the soulmate version of her will come back and finally stay. Healthy relationships don't make you feel trapped. They don't make you feel like you're losing your mind. So, if you're still unsure, here is the simplest test. Ask yourself how you typically feel after spending time with her. Are you calm? Do you feel loved and supported? Or are you drained, anxious, and doubting yourself? That answer will tell you everything you need to know. If you are in a toxic relationship, consider reaching out to a therapist in your area and check out my toxic relationship recovery program that I linked below. If you found this content helpful, please take a moment to like, comment, and share. And to learn more about narcissistic relationships, click on the link above.